Hey, good evening. How are you? I'm seeing you for a while, actually, am I? How are you all? So tonight we are going to be talking about the Google Helpful Content Update. An update that rolled out 2 weeks ago now, maybe a week ago. And it's had a pretty big effect on a lot of websites. Mostly what I've been hearing is it's been negative, but of course there have been some people that have had a positive gain from it as well. There we go, look, there's a few in the chat. I'm down to 40 daily visits from 170, so we're going to be talking about all that kind of stuff today. I've also maybe got a couple of special guests joining me. I've asked a few of my friends to pop in and share their thoughts on the Google Helpful Content Update. But before we begin, let's see who on earth we've got in today. Abdullah, good to see you. Carl's here. I better do the Eaglers first. Hang on. Carl. And Daniel, another WP Eagler. Michael's here. More eagle noise, please. And, well, that's it for Eaglers. If you want to be a WP Eagler, you can join by clicking on the button below. And then you get a shout out, a little badge, and some other perks, which I need to deliver at some point. As if's here, and Chris as well. CPA Marketeers here. Griff, good to see you. Helen's dropped by. Here we go. How are you, Helen? I hope you're all good. Papa Smashed is here. Peter's here as well. Fruitbat Cat. And I don't know how to pronounce your name, friend. The Russian friend. I don't know how I pronounce your name. Okay. Let me just reset my iPad.
I found this on
shush, Siri. Yeah. So how has the helpful content update been for you? Alex, that's an easy one for me to remember. Hello, Alex. Bradbury. Spam update. Oh, well, as long as we're not spamming, then we don't need to worry about that one too much. Who else? I saw someone else slip in. Peter? Carl, you can come and join me for a chat if you like. In fact, anyone could join me for a chat. All I need to do is share a link with you. I kind of did it last minute. Carl as well, Broadbent, you can join as well. Anyone can join. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link up to the top of the chat. And then, if I just pin that, you can find it. Just turn on your camera and your microphone and you can come and join me and tell me all about your helpful content update experience. So, let's see what people are saying. Phil says, for a helpful content update, all sites I have seen, only blogs seem to have been affected. Business sites still seem the same. Papa says 2 out of 3 of his sites have tanked. Hello, Pigstream. Good to see you. A lot of people are saying that as well. Yeah, the SERPs just seem, well, not very good. Wait, is that not in the middle there? There we go. That's better. Carl can't join tonight. But I do have a guest who's just joining us now, I think. I can't see them at the moment, so let's just turn on the camera, who will hopefully be able to give us an expert opinion on what's really going on. In terms of my sites, they haven't really been affected either. I did a video, by the way, just the other week on the effect on my sites. And yeah, Snack Eagle is still continuing to grow quite nicely. And, well, Can You Wash It has got a slight dip, but I think that could be down to a lack of publishing on my part, really. So, yeah. And Dart Picks, the one that was dead, seems to have come back to life. So, it's all a little bit weird. Okay, let's see if we can get this going. Ah, yeah, looks like that's better. Okay. So yeah, my first guest I've got on is friend of the channel and a regular on the channel, because I chopped up a recent interview of his into lots and lots of shorts, which you probably have seen. And yeah, it's Kazra. So let's bring him in. Kazra, how are you?
Great. Doing very well. How are you?
I'm good. You're doing very well on this Wednesday. Great. So, yeah, tonight we're talking about the helpful content update. Now, you have recently started your own YouTube channel.
I have indeed, yes. Basically, for anyone that doesn't know, I started my own YouTube channel after the helpful content update. And every series that I'm doing, I'm talking about like a certain subject. So the first episode was like kind of like an intro. The second one was refreshing old content. The third one will be talking about EEAT and so on and so forth. So we'll have a section on technical SEO. We'll have a section on link building and everything that you basically need to essentially recover a website.
So was the helpful content update your inspiration to start YouTube, or was it something you were planning to do anyway?
There was like, so I've been focusing more so on my personal brand, and I feel like because I was the website recovery guy, I felt like it just made sense after a lot of websites got hit after the helpful content update. So, yeah.
Okay. So what do you know about it so far? I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter and other places where people have looked at a lot of websites to try and see some kind of pattern. some kind of reason as to why certain sites have dropped and others haven't. What are you seeing?
So I feel like there's a massive misconception at the minute where people will take a look at one SERP and they'll be like, oh, well, why is the App Store ranking higher for this keyword? Or why is this website ranking for that keyword? And it's like, hold on a minute. There's seems to be a massive misconception. So what people need to understand is that there is now a helpful content threshold. So if you have 1,000 articles on your website and let's say 10 of them or 5 of them are just old articles that you've not updated that aren't actually helpful, those articles probably won't pull your website down. However, if you, let's say, had 250 articles that were pretty average or not up to date, that can pull your website down site wide, not just for those 250 pages. The entire site can go down. So just because you might have one article that's really helpful, that's the best article on that subject, if you have 300, 400, even 20 sometimes pages that are bad, that can get pulled down.
Because that's kind of new. Because I used to think that Google kind of ranked each page on its own merits rather than kind of taking the site as a whole. But that seems to have changed.
So that was part of the Marie Haynes done a tweet on it, and so did John Mueller, and they were basically referring to the Google quality raters and also the PDF that they released with the update. Basically, like for anyone that didn't read it, it says like a bad page can affect certain silos or the entire website. So that's where it's coming from. It's not just a theory that I've made up. But yeah,
What do you think of John Mueller?
do you know what? I feel like he gets a lot of flack from the SEO community. Now he he's helpful, right? Don't get me wrong, but
But
he
you miss
can
Matt
be a little
Cutts.
bit. Yeah, well, he could be a lot more helpful. Like one thing that I said was if I was the Google representative, right, I would have a test website
Yeah.
and I would be testing on it and I would be releasing the case studies, the tests to the people saying, by the way, we've tested this. We've tested embedding a video on the page. It's jumped up. We've done, I don't know, these 10 articles that were all LSIs and the entire silos jumped up. I'd have a much more hands-on approach. Now, I don't know why he doesn't do that because he probably, again, I don't know his daily schedule. He might be a really busy man, but I feel like there's a lot more that you could probably get out of John Mueller, and sometimes he does speak in riddles. So, like
Yeah.
for example, I don't know if you saw the other day. I don't know if it was him or somebody from Google that said that links aren't a top three ranking factor. Now, we both know that it's not true, but it is true, right? And I'll tell you the reason why. If you have no content on your website, well, building links doesn't mean anything. If you
No.
have if your website isn't indexed, then again, your content, your website is not going to get crawled by Google, right? And then the third one is if you don't have any topical authority, then again, you're not going to rank for the keyword. So is links a top three ranking factor? Well, if you include those three, then no, it's not. But
It's probably
if
number
we,
4 or 5, yeah. But,
yeah, so
and do you
it's
think he has got a personal vendetta against niche websites? It seems like it's a kind
absolutely
of
not.
bee in his bonnet or
Absolutely
something.
not.
No.
So again, like I know that Jamie, he had a little bit of a ding dong with him.
Yeah.
Now he's um he's not got anything against niche websites. Like niche websites is a terminology that we've came up as SEOs, right?
Yeah.
It's just a website covering one topic. Now,
It's just a blog, really, I guess.
yeah. Now, is that being helpful? Like a lot of the SERPs that I've seen that websites have dropped that were niche websites, the websites have replaced them are genuinely better websites. And I know that that's going to piss off a lot of people, but they genuinely are. Like they have an actual offer that has expertise in that industry. You Google the name and they have a knowledge panel 9 times out of 10. So it does Sarah Jones on your website that's a persona image deserve to be ranking as high as what she was? Probably not. One question I'd like to ask you, right? Let's say, Alex, you're looking to buy a monitor. This is pre-update, pre
Yeah,
helpful content update. You're looking to buy a monitor. Would you trust the SERPs?
probably not.
Well then, so there genuinely was an actual issue, right? I asked this on a Twitter live a few nights ago, and it was me and Gareth Boyd and a few other SEOs. I think Sam was there as well. And I asked them individually, would you trust it? Would you trust it? Would you trust it? And every single one of them said no. And I said, right, okay. So we're all agreeing that the SERPs were an issue. Now, what would you do if you were going to buy a monitor? And one of them said, I'd ask my mate because he knows a thing or two about monitors. The second guy said, I'd go on Reddit. The third person said, I'd watch a YouTube video. So when
Yeah,
people are
I'd
now
probably go to YouTube, but yeah, Reddit's also maybe an idea because you're getting a real opinion then, aren't you?
exactly. So now people are complaining, saying, oh, well, YouTube's taken over the top 6 positions. Well, it's like, well, you do realize that Google doesn't just look at one data point, they've got multiple data points. So if there's a lot of search intent on YouTube where people are searching for best monitors or best running shoes, and the searches on YouTube are a lot higher than Google, then guess what? They're going to serve YouTube as opposed to your website. Now, again, same goes with Reddit. They've got the data. They've got Google Analytics set up on Reddit, I assume. So if there's a lot of people that are searching, that are going on Reddit and then searching for, I don't know, best running shoes, best monitors, then if Reddit has stole your position, they probably deserved it. Like a lot of people think that Google is going to roll back this update because they've made a mistake. I feel like a lot of people don't understand how many data points Google truly has.
They know a lot about what's going on, of course. Not only have they got
Yeah,
analytics, they've got Chrome, they've got Android. They know exactly what
exactly.
everyone's doing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I want to ask you a question about your first video, actually, because you pulled up a website that you said, well, if your website looks like this, then this is a problem. And it was a friend of mine, Tony's
Yeah.
website, I think who you know, from Simplify Gardening. Now, as far as I can see, and I've met Tony a number of times, I know him well, he does live and breathe the content that he's creating. He does the gardening, he gets his hands dirty, he makes videos, and he does all that kind of stuff. So he's not your typical niche website owner that's just doing some research and paying writers to kind of put that together. So what's wrong with Tony's website?
First of all, I didn't know it was Tony's website. I just picked a website because it got
Oh,
sent to me by somebody else, right? So if Tony's watching this, I am so sorry. But let's break it down, right? So Tony's website, like there's a lot of things that he's doing right, but there's also a lot of things that he's not doing correctly. So for example, when people talk about EEAT, all they
yeah,
care about is like the content on their website. So they might have like an offer box, they might have an about page, they might have an about Tony page,
yeah,
and they might have like an affiliate disclosure, just the subset of things. Now, there's Tony does have all of that, right? So from an on-page EEAT point of view, I would say that he's probably a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like he's not complete, like it's definitely not the worst website that I've seen, but it's definitely not the best either. Now, if you were to search his full name,
yeah,
there's a lot of things that he's missing. So like there's other websites that he should be contributing on. There's like, for example, if you were to search Matt Diggy or even my name, Kazradash, you'll see that I've contributed on a lot of other websites. So very quickly you'll see that Kazradash is in a 40 figure on SEO. Matt Diggy, he's on like Sam Rush's website. He's on Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land, right? So he's mentioned on a lot of other websites, bar his. Now, I've mentioned this before again on Twitter Lives and other podcasts. You could be the best brain surgeon in the world, right? But if Google has no recollection of who you are on the internet, it doesn't mean anything. You can go and set up a blog tomorrow and say, I am the best brain surgeon in the world, full stop. I've done 2 million brain surgeries, 100% success rate. If Google, again, has no recollection, they don't know who Kazra Dash is, they're not going to rank you for the like your brain surgeon blog.
that makes perfect sense. So does this mean that the key is just to get yourself out there, get your authors out there, and if you are the main author, to get yourself out there, do people's podcasts, get on other people's websites, do a lot of social media, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Definitely. Like, again, going back to link building, people have been buying links, right? And like all they've been doing is acquiring the anchor. So that if they're trying to rank for best running shoes, they'll get a guest post that's talking about best running shoes, and it'll link to their best running shoes money page. Now, what you want to be doing as well is mentioning your offers on as many places as you can. And by the way, that's not to say go and get Harrow links. I'm personally against Harrow links, mainly because you go and get a Harrow link, and the link that you acquire today might have one CEO on that page, or what one offer on that page. You then look at it in 8 months' time, and it's got 50 other offers, right? So it's linking out to like all these different offers and all these people that have helped to write her out, whatever that means nowadays. But again, like, it's not, you're not building up your offership, you're not building out your expertise. There should be documents about you talking about how great you are. Just having your offer on your page saying, I'm the best brain surgeon. All right, mate. Google doesn't believe
Yeah.
that.
Other people have to say it as well.
Exactly.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah, and I see you have been putting yourself out there a lot, and I guess you're just trying to practice what you preach, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. There's I've been getting a lot of hate recently again, but it is what it is. It's part of the game, I guess.
Well, yeah. Welcome to YouTube. You probably had your first few comments and whatever, and that's all part of being online, isn't it? It's just part of it. So it's not just down to the fact that most of the websites that were hit have just got like a blog roll on their homepage, or is that a problem too?
I've been seeing this a lot. I don't think it's part of the blog roll being on the homepage.
Just
I
I mean, but that was obviously like latest post panels and stuff, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I could sit there and argue and say that that's a good technical SEO experience, right? So if if you've built up a brand, right? Let's say we'll use WP Eagle for example, right? There might be thousands of people searching that every month, and they want to see the latest article, the latest product that you've reviewed, right? So I don't think that that's necessarily an issue. What I will say is a lot of the websites that I've seen have been using the same SEO strategy. So I don't think it's the theme, for example. Like there's certain things that the theme has problems with, like or sorry, not just a singular theme, but all the websites that I've seen, right? And we'll get onto that. So the blog roll, I wouldn't say is that big of an issue, but the actual SEO strategy is. So what I've seen, and again, you might have a different view on this, is a lot of people have been rehashing Reddit's forums or what people have asked on Reddit and using that as articles. And it's like, again, I believe John Mueller came out on a tweet and said, like, you've just rehashed and added a few words and sentences to the actual answer that was originally on Reddit. So it's not so much the actual theme, it's more so the actual SEO strategy. I feel like a lot of people need to adapt their SEO strategy to be a little bit more bulletproof. And in some cases, like I've seen this a lot, where people think that topical authority comes with the number of articles on your website. It's actually more so to do with the actual amount of user engagements you're getting to per page. So if you have 1,000, or let's say, like I mentioned this in episode 2, if you have 999 articles talking about cars and you have one article talking about shoes, and the one article is getting all your traffic, your website is deemed as a topical authority figure on shoes and not cars. Even though you might have topical coverage on cars, you might have 999 articles talking about bumpers, headlights, the different types of cars, etc., etc. Google doesn't care about that. It cares about what's getting traffic. What are people tuning into your website to see?
Yeah, it's the quality, and this goes back to I think what Nick was talking about at Search Birmingham, in terms of you can actually rank a website by having extremely high quality content where people are engaged, they're not bouncing off, they're reading it, and they're coming back to it. That kind of stuff. Google knows all of those metrics and can see when a piece of content is of high quality.
Exactly.
Right, I can see there's a few of you in the green room, which is great. I'm going to bring you all in due time. I think I've got room for one more on the screen right now. I'm going to just bring him in as he's just dropped by. It's our friend Jamie.
Hey.
How are you?
Doing, boys?
Good. Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, sorry I'm a bit late. I had a couple of things to sort out, but I'm here now.
No, it's fine. We're going for an hour or so. So we've just been obviously talking about the Google Helpful Content update. Kazra's got loads of ideas and kind of can see why some sites have been hit. But Jamie, weren't a couple of your sites hit?
Yeah, and I don't think that I come with anything like controversial or different that I've seen. The ones that are hit follow the same sort of patterns, and the ones that aren't hit follow the same sort of patterns. All I can speak of from is the things that I'm going to change. And the main thing to me is like top of fold ads and ad density. I kind of let that go wayward and was like, I can make a bit more money here. I won't be as disciplined with controlling this and thinking long term. And so I can change that. Super, like, again, like resouping a lot of the content that we were in the process of updating anyway. Much quicker answers, much more succinct, concise, main answer up top. And also, like, I call it an info complement where you don't just give the answer, but you give like the variations that someone could be looking for. Like, for example, like, let's say the keyword is like, how much does a vacuum cost? You give like what your targeted snippet answer is or whatever, but underneath like a table of the different types of vacuums and the different costs. So you get like the different multitudes of answers in there, like as well. So we haven't been doing that well enough, and like it's something I'm catching up on. Other stuff like Kaz was the person to ask for this stuff, like about this stuff, but like just it would be like the ones that we didn't get hit are the ones with more of like a real brand search volume, like organic Reddit mentions, all that sort of stuff. And so I can see why. I've been here.
You can. Good. It's not because John Mueller hates you.
Well, if it all goes wrong, then I'll blame it on him and sell courses based off that.
We were just talking about building yourself up as an expert and making sure that other people also refer to you as an expert. On your sites, are you the author or do you have other authors that do the stuff for you? And if so, how are you going to build up them as experts?
Yeah, so this is again something that Kazra is much more qualified to talk about than me. But some of the things that I'm moving towards are some things that, like, so for example, quick plug for Kazra, who'll love me for this. We got an audit done for some of the EAT stuff for one of our smaller sites. And one of the things, like, there's a decent enough brand cert for the main author, but like it made me think more about some of the stuff that you can do to just further pack it in with like, for example, if you Google Kazra's name, you'll see he's been in different like local businesses and stuff like that just keep solidifying you. You've been mentioned, like, for example, one of like Kazra's sites will be like one best new whatever. I don't want to out the sites, but like, you know, best like business of like whatever, and like that's good stuff because like I very much doubt that Google's using the resources to fact check all of this stuff. And so if you feed enough like nominal references, I think that you can get away with a lot. And so I'm loosening my previous resolve on like worry over this stuff and just going for it. And so like for literally like earlier today, I was sticking a bunch of guest posts ready to go guest posts on big parasites that are just literally like best blogs in X niche. And it's just my ones up top for all of them, just to see how much we can just fucking feed in and see how much like consensus we can like jam towards us.
It sounds good. I'm glad you kind of know what you're going to do and you've got it all planned out. Let's have a couple of quick questions from the audience. So do you guys think that metrics like on-page duration, I think we always touch on this, are more important after this update? Kazra?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably all down to like a brand and stuff like that. But one thing that I will say is that the websites that I've been seeing, like both the offers have like really good brand SERPs, which is like one thing that I've been preaching about for like the entirety of this year, right? And then also the website itself has like a good brand SERP. So like I think who's the guy that talks about this a lot? He's like the schema the go-to schema guy. I forget his name.
From InLinks?
No. I'll get back to you on the name. But one thing that he like we were speaking about this maybe 2 years ago with him, ironically, and he said the brand SERP is kind of like a shop window. So if you can get your website listed on places like Trustpilot, other websites talking about your brand. So for example, if we're going to do it for WP Eagle, there should be other web development sites talking about how great WP Eagle is, but not also that, like Alex as well, because he's the main author. So just getting your name and stuff like that listed as many places builds up a brand. and then other people from other websites will say, I wonder who this WP Eagle is, and then they'll check out your website, which will lead on to more time on page, checking out all your other articles and stuff like that. So if someone was to ask me, does it matter the page on page duration on the time on page is, yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, I think all those engagement metrics have always been important. I mean, that's how YouTube tends to rank videos, as far as I can see. And I've published 1,000 videos. It's really about how much engagement you get on that video. So it sends it out to a few people and then checks out the click-through rate. So it's measuring your thumbnail and the title. And then it's also seeing if that click-through rate is valid by measuring the engagement with the video in terms of watch time. And it's going to be the same
By the way,
article.
The name of the guy was Jason Barnard. I'm sure
Jason, of course. Yeah. Of course. Okay, let's see. There's a couple more questions. Well, I think there was. I like this comment from Chris at the Shafari. It's possible that the blog role on the homepage theory is correlation, not causation. There's a correlation between sloppy homepages and sloppy content. Lazy people don't bother making a decent homepage. Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
Because there were some people like saying, well, you just look at, Google could just look at a theme that's safe designed for niche websites and affiliate marketers, like popcorn theme. And then they could just go for all the sites that run popcorn theme, because they're obviously all terrible niche websites. But that is just obviously far too simplistic. And as we've kind of said, I don't think the theme, as long as it's technically sound, really is going to be a signal to Google. Yeah, Jason Barnard from CaliCube.
That's the one.
So what else have you got planned for your YouTube series? And also, Jamie, when are you going to upload a video to your channel again?
When I get to it. There's I will go quick plug, there is something coming out that we've been filming for the last few weeks, me and Sammy, and so that's going to come out soon. But I'm not like regularly uploading or nothing. Okay,
that's a shame. I think people would enjoy it. Talking of Sammy, when's our podcast going up?
Okay, well, that's it's a podcast. So yeah, he's coming out in a couple of weeks' time.
Because I sat down with Jamie and Sammy a couple of weeks ago, and we had a good old chat. I just wondered when it was, because I could do with the link to build up my EAT,
We'll get you the links. We'll get you the links. Don't worry. We'll stick them wherever you want them. We'll make sure we write it in the most like, Alex is a WordPress expert YouTuber, world-renowned for like whatever. We'll pack it in Casper style.
Yeah, you need that. Right, I think I can bring him in. I want to bring in Rick, because he's just said on the chat, I disagree with engagement time on websites as a ranking factor. So, Rick, there you are. That was your comment right there, yeah? Oh, Rick, I can't hear you. Rick, are you muted? Hello?
Yo, yeah, we can hear you now.
Can we? I can't. Oh,
I thought I could hear him for a second.
Rick, what's he doing? No. Maybe rejoin Rick when you have things working. Okay, that was Rick. Well, okay, let's have a quick chat with Carl. Carl, you're sitting in a very blue room there.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What are your thoughts on all this? Have you had any websites that have been hit by the helpful content update?
I can't really say that I have. It's generally been consistent throughout, and I would generally say that as long as the content remains on topic and has relevant backlinks pointing to it, and obviously, as Kazra Dash said, to ensure that your name is getting out there as the topical authority on the subject, then what will inevitably happen is you will be seen as a byproduct of that authority. So you should be mentioned as a result in the Google SERPs. One of the things that I actually wanted to mention here is so much about backlinks. Something really got to me the other day, and someone said that backlinks were no longer a top 3 ranking factor.
Yeah, we were just talking about that actually with Kazra, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So those of us who have been in this space for a long time in the SEO space we know that that's a load of BS. And this is just the typical Google way of trying to keep us off our game and keep us guessing with what the algorithm is doing. And so the way in which I actually reference this is it's basically like a PR or web spam team method in which they will say, this is now the case, but then at a later date, they will change their mind and say, actually, you need to supplement this content with said links. And so it goes against the grain. And so nowadays, what I seem to do is when Matt Cutts releases an article or whatever and say, backlinks, don't worry about it no more. This is the time when you need to double down. Because obviously that is... do you know what? I think he got promoted. I'm not quite sure, but he seems to be bouncing from one department to another. It's that guy is like a chameleon. He can just shift in and out of different sections within the industry. But another thing that Kajra mentioned is building a social network to supplement not only your other authors page, but obviously your company or your brand as well, and that is extremely important. The more signals that the algorithm sees, this is only beneficial throughout the overall of the picture. So it's content followed by links, followed by engagement signals. And engagement signals are things like time on page, dwelling time. It's been there throughout time immemorial. And so this is exactly what I said to another person on Facebook. If Google truly wanted to remove backlinks as a relevant top 3 ranking signal, they would literally have to go and rewrite the algorithm from scratch, essentially making a whole new one because they're so embedded. Backlinks, that being the case, they're so embedded in the core of the algorithm that is what would be that basically is what would end up happening to happen. Tongue-tied there, but
all right, Rick's back. Thanks for that, Carl. I like talking to you because it reminds me of Ringo Starr and when I used to watch Thomas the Tank Engine.
That's a good comparison, mate. I appreciate that.
You have Ringo Starr's voice. I'll catch up with you soon. Right, let's bring Rick in. Is your mic working now, Rick?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh my
testing.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you made a comment just a minute ago. Just to be controversial, I think, or maybe not. You said that you disagree with engagement time on websites as a ranking factor. Now, why on earth would you think that?
Because although Google Analytics is the most prominent analytics system that most people use, not all websites use it. And the issue is, how can Google track your engagement time if you don't have a script on there?
With Android and Chrome?
Yeah.
Could possibly. Possibly.
So
Google can track where I am in my car. Google can track
tell you one
visited
thing
the local restaurant. They're watching me all the whole time. They know what I'm doing.
I've been watching engagement signals from many, many sites. I do SEO marketing, and so my company has a lot of clients. And I haven't personally found any correlation with engagement time. It could be anything from like 20 seconds to an hour, and ranking for the page. In fact, you can go through and look at the top ranking pages and see if you have access to engagement time, where there's no correlation, unless you guys know of some correlation that I don't know of. I don't see any correlation with that. I mean, I haven't seen any videos online either of people saying, I have a...
We've got an R&D team. We have definitely tested this. We've used 3G, 4G, 5G, and residential proxies. We can move things from positions 5 to position 1 just based off CTR, bounce rate, and you just need to make sure that the IPs that you're not using aren't blacklisted. So it definitely is a ranking factor.
Okay.
I agree with click-through rate. But like I said, the engagement time is what you guys were talking about earlier, like the amount of time.
I guess we were just bundling together a whole load of engagement metrics, CTR, page views, time on site, that kind of thing.
Again,
obviously
if
they
you want,
have different values or strengths or weighted differently.
if you want to test it yourself, what you can do is go on to position 1. Again, you need to set up a massive free 4G and 5G network, which isn't easy to do, and it's also not cheap. But all you need to do is click on result 1, bounce back after like 1-2 seconds, click on your result or whoever you're trying to boost, and you will very quickly, after a certain amount of time, will get position 1. But you also need to know the
Yes, but
calculations for the keyword.
that's only because you're bouncing back to Google. I'm talking about engagement time on a site. When you bounce back to Google, yeah, Google will get that signal because it records. It's going through their system. But if you're not going through their system, let's say you go to the home page, and then you click on About Us page, and you click on a blog page, it can't keep track of that
It definitely can.
if they don't have Google Analytics.
It can, but we can agree to disagree. But it's fine.
I think Google Analytics is just one string in their bow for tracking everything, isn't it?
Yeah, so they've got access to Chromium, which isn't just Chrome. I believe that there's like a handful of different browsers that use it. They've got access to Android. They've got access to what else have they got access to? They've got access to like a million different data points. So when you're saying it can't be tracked, they can definitely track it, mainly because they blacklist a load of IPs. And the biggest cost when it comes to Google is click fraud. So even if you're not using Google Analytics, they still need to figure out where the IP is coming from. How did it get to that page? So again, like what I mentioned before, click fraud's the biggest expense to Google as like that, and probably indexing pages. So they need to be proper, like hands on deck as to, right, this IP is pinged from these 10 different pages. They've clicked on these 3 different PPC results, or they've clicked through to these 3 different websites. Is it doing something fishy? If it is, we need to blacklist that IP so it's not actually being able to pass through as a true user engagement. There's like probably so many IPs that have been burnt out. So again, like going back to what you were saying, where you don't think it is, I can recommend, like you can go and do the test yourself, and you will very quickly figure out that it is.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. Like I say, it's the actual. No one has shown proof that engagement time on a single page correlates to ranking.
Okay.
Like, the perfect time is 1:46, and that
But
will
then,
get you a better.
that's interesting because it wouldn't. In isolation, I don't think it would be a good metric because, as someone just pointed out, Luke, it was, if time on site is really long, then wouldn't that mean that it takes a long time for the user to actually find the answer, and therefore the content isn't very useful? Which is, of course, correct, because if people are looking for a quick bit of information, then the best article may deliver that in just 20 seconds, whereas a bad article, it may take a minute to skim through it. So in isolation, time on site is not going to be, just because someone reads the entire article does not necessarily mean it's a good article. So, yeah, interesting. So, Rick, do you have any of your own niche sites? I guess you do. And if so, how are they after the update?
Mine are actually okay. I had one that crashed, but everything else is okay. However, I do a lot of testing. So lately I've been playing with Google Bard, and I found out that you can get banned from Google Bard for playing with it too much. Google Bard is still, they're still testing it. So like you can ask it a question, and if you don't like the answer, if you think the answer is correct, you can correct it, and it'll actually say, "Oh, I'm very sorry. Let me put that in my database." Well, if you take correct answers and you incorrectly change them to incorrect answers, then they catch on to that. But what's interesting about Google Bard, yeah, it's bad. Don't do that.
It's like people editing.
Luckily, I only got banned from that service, not my whole Google system. But what's great about Google Bard is it's actually connected to the Google search engine. And you can actually ask it some interesting questions. So I was playing around with it, and this is something interesting. Are you guys familiar with Google Entities?
No, what's that?
So Google Entities are identifying the relevant entities for your topic. According to Google, it's the people, places, things, events, and concepts that are most important to your topic. So what it is Google, to help it understand better and more about your page, what you want to do, it's sort of like what some people do with like third-party links on their site. they put links that go to like high ranked sites to show that they're trying to be authoritative as well. But for Google entities, it's actually connecting to like things like Wikipedia. So if you could take links on your page, anything that was related to people, place, things, events, and concepts, and find a corresponding Wikipedia page, you can either directly connect a link to the Wikipedia page or use schematics to link to the Wiki page, and that actually helps with ranking according to Google Bard. Now, I'm still testing it, so I don't have the answer on this. But this is something people may want to look into for that. Also, I've noticed that most of the sites that have crashed with this update and haven't done well are sites that just have posts on the homepage. They don't have any kind of like form to their page. It's literally like image, menu of some things, and then all of a sudden just post. That's all you see. It's just a whole row of posts. Those sites haven't seemed to be doing very well. So I would recommend
that is the
building
theory that we were talking
some
about
kind of
earlier,
structure.
that having recent post blog roles could be a factor, but there may be more to it than that. Okay, what I want to do is just quickly go round to my guests while they're here, and I just basically want people watching. By the way, I've lost my AirPod. By the way, if you are watching, there's only 28 likes at the moment, and I can see there's like nearly 75 of you watching right now. So I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I've got a popcorn themed license to give away later. So if you're not running popcorn themed, then maybe you might be interested. Just click the like button. Oh, I lost our friend. Rick, are you still there? Oh yeah, Rick's back. I thought you'd gone. Yeah, click the like button now. We need 88 likes, and I can give away a popcorn themed license. Yeah, I want to go around to my guests and basically just ask on behalf of all of those people out there that may have been hit by the helpful content update. Once you've kind of picked yourself up off the floor, what is some steps? And then, of course, watching Kazra's videos would be a good way to start. But what's the practical steps that people can start to take in order to figure out what the hell has happened and what they should start to do? Kazra.
Do I really need to go first? Let's let
Jamie. Let's start with
first.
Jamie.
Let's go with Jamie.
Well, I've spoken about what I'm doing, and I can only speak for myself. Shoring up how we're perceived on and off the site in terms of like improving, especially the top third of posts, like much more higher weighted than everything else. And then off-site, and on-site ad density and top of fold, trying to get as much as possible above fold. And then off-site, doing a lot of what Kazra recommends with trying to make sure that everyone who contributes to our site is seen as an expert, both from, Kazra talks about brand insert, but also on the schema and the same as and everything that they've all contributed to other like big, like we're lucky in that we've got a lot of writers that have like historical, like they've written for other places, but they just haven't like built their personal brands. We've almost got to just build it for them in a sense. And so doing more of that, not necessarily like PR, but like more like public, but not necessarily like powerful links, just for the sort of like visibility rather than like just straight like juice or whatever I was doing before.
Okay. Just to add on the back of that, I want to rephrase the question a little bit, because there's going to be some people out there with websites like that I've got. So I've got a website. It's about darts, playing darts. I don't play darts. I'm not very good at darts. I'm not an expert on darts. Should I just get rid of that site? Because if you've got sites where you're creating content and you're not an expert, you're not an authority, you've got a site about dogs, you don't even have a dog, you've got a travel site and you rarely travel. Is it time to get rid of those sites? Anyone want to chime in on that?
So that's probably the route that Google wants you to go down, but it's not the best route, right? Because I remember 6-7 years ago, like going back to the links talk, right? I remember 6 or 7 years ago, like we all done like a theory and we said like, where do you think the angle Google's going to go down, right? And one of them said that links isn't going to be as important of a factor. It's going to be more so to do with like branded mentions, unlinked mentions. Now, you can very easily build up a website around other people's names that have a lot of mentions, and you could use their expertise and knowledge, obviously as long as you're getting permission off of them. but you can just be the publisher of the actual article. So say, for example, if I was to build a website to do with WordPress themes, I might get, for example, Alex. If I was to build a website to do with, for example, affiliates and affiliate marketing, I might get somebody like a Matt Dickey or a Jamie or Gail Brayton, because they've got the expertise and the know-how already. So they could just be contributors on your website. So you could go down that route. I certainly wouldn't just spin off a website. There's like been a lot of people that have asked me that in the past few days, and they're like, "Hey, Kaz, I've got this website about, I don't know, furniture, and I don't even know how to do DIY. I struggle with IKEA furniture," and it's like, right. Well, maybe it's time to actually get somebody to help you with that website, a genuine expert. So you could always go down that route. And I also like, if you want a more black hat answer, it definitely can be gamed. Like expertise can be gamed, trust can be gamed, everything can be gamed. There's probably going to be a lot of white hats that are listening to this and they're screaming their eyes out, but it can definitely be gamed.
No, I think most of my community, they don't sit in either camp. They just want a website that works to a certain degree. That's an interesting take, because I think a lot of people have been thinking that, and I say I've been asked that, and you've probably been asked that. Everything has changed over the many years that I've been doing this. It used to be quite easy to create some niche webs, create a website, publish some content without too much effort, and be fairly successful. And obviously, things always change, and people always have to improve, and we always have to improve. And yeah, I guess I think you should have a website about something that you are passionate about for your first website anyway, and something that you can offer your own expertise, because it's going to be hard to pay people or encourage people to come and be those experts for you. And if you don't want to go down the black hat, that's the only option you got. What are your thoughts on that, Rick, that I've just said with regards to maybe you've got some sites that you maybe shouldn't have?
Yeah, well, I think you should keep your site. Here's the issue I think is going on. Everyone's rehashing the same content, and Google wants unique content, and it'll rank those sites with unique content better. Now, this is all theoretical because I played with Bard. I haven't had a chance to go. I haven't had the time to try everything out. However, when I was talking to Bard, it said that it wanted unique content for Google search, but also it said that Google search wants strong emotions and memories. And it says that a lot of sites aren't doing any of that. So one thing is, I tried playing with it, just doing some random, a random code and letters, to try to make unique content. And it actually recognizes whether it's a real phrase or not. So that doesn't work. So you actually need to put in, some kind of English phrase. What's great is, so for example, let's say you make a page about bread, fresh, bread. A lot of people don't have in their post the smell of fresh baked bread, and that's an emotional, unique thing that I think would help. So Google wants people to put their emotions and memories into the posts, and everyone's mostly just rehashing things or using an AI.
They're just regurgitating facts. You've got to put a bit of emotion, a bit of personality, as Carl's just said, some kind of story-based content, evoke feeling to the reader when you're talking about bread, because you could write some descriptive, powerful words that create images about whatever it is you're talking about, and would make people actually smell the bread, even though they can't, by using the powerful words and your command of the English language, which I'm struggling with right now when I'm talking. But that's interesting. That's interesting. But basically, that's better content, isn't it, than just regurgitated facts? Content that's created.
Correct. And so
is better.
I would recommend going through your posts and trying to add things like that. It's interesting because Google Bard will actually supply meaningful phrases for you if you ask it. If you go to Google Bard and say, please provide me some meaningful phrases in the English language that are for whatever topic you have, it'll actually provide ones. In fact, if you add the phrase for websites that do not rank for on Google search, it will find unique ones that people haven't used yet. In fact, it gave me some general examples, like the joy of playing with a child, the comfort of a hug, the satisfaction of a job well done, the love of a family. Those are just generic ones. But if you put them in for your topic, it will give you some really great things you can actually look to add to your post that provides emotion and memories. And I think it's really, really, a really cool idea.
That's interesting. Okay, well, going back to my original question, Kazra. So, what are the a couple of just things that people could start looking at if they have suffered with a hit?
So I'll do a recap of what Jamie said, because I feel like that was really important. The EAT, off-page EAT, making sure that all your offers have a branded window or a shop window. So if you're searching Sarah Jane, it's not just 10 million Sarah Janes on the subject. Sarah Jane, the expert in dogs. I feel like that's super important. Making sure that the above the fold stuff, again, what Jamie mentioned, was good. And then what Rick is saying, that goes down to information gain patent, which again, Marie Haynes goes into detail on her blog about. But basically, everybody in the past 12 months has been doing copycat SEO. So they'll go and look at the top 10 results. They'll say, right, okay, if it's an article talking about Jamie, it might be talking about his height, it might be talking about where he lives, what he does, etc. And that's what everybody's essentially written, right? And then whoever's got the most amount of links, or whoever's got the best UX on their website, or whoever's got the best technically built website would probably rank the highest. Now, what you should be doing is having information gain. So if nobody's talking about the previous experience of Jamie, might have worked in a KFC when he was 17 or 18, right? If you can essentially bring something of value to the actual SERP, that's super important, because Google didn't know that about Jamie. Google was like, Jamie's just an SEO guy. He's been doing it since he was 12, right? But if you can actually bring something of value to the SERP that Google hasn't seen before, they're going to rank you higher. And again, this goes back to what I was saying before. So if you have 600 pages that's all copycat SEO and it's not bringing anything of value to the SERP, and that's what your website's been built on, because you've just been looking at what all the correlation tools have been telling you to do, that's not a good website, because Google already knows that information. But if you can essentially slowly go back through all your pages and add value, again, in some cases you won't be able to, right? Because how for example, if you're talking about the best running shoes, typically speaking, that's probably going to be the best running shoes. But if you're talking about a holiday destination in Mallorca, right? If you can add images that are unique, if you can add certain questions that are unique, if you can add the population of a town in Mallorca that's close by that Google doesn't know about, that's unique, then guess what? That's actual helpful content. There's a lot of people that think their content is helpful, but it's just well written. So they might have used tools like Phrase, tools like Surfer, and it's just correlated the content, whereas it's not actually unique. Google already has 10, 20, 300 other articles talking about the exact same content. So when it comes to helpful content, try and actually add some more information to the SERP that Google might not know about. Again, that might be difficult on some pages, but I can guarantee you on a lot of how-to articles, on a lot of guides, on a lot of those types of pages, you can definitely add in information gain.
Just bring something new to the party. Especially with AI and ChatGPT and Bard and that. I mean, they've got so much information already. They've already scoured the web and stored up all the information and are able to regurgitate it. So don't do what the AI does. You need to bring something new and fresh. And as you say, new photos, new videos, new questions. It's perfect.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to be sitting out there thinking, God, this sounds like a lot of work. And it is, I guess.
Yeah, there was one person, I think it was Carl, that actually said this. The best way to recover a website is actually just taking action. Like, there's going to be a lot of websites that have been hit that people are like, I'm just going to throw up a new website. And it's like, well, you can do that, but you're going to have that exact same issue 12 months down the line. So just actually take action. And then one last thing that nobody actually spoke about is disavows. Like, disavows, again, Google, or a lot of people think that Google just ignores bad links. It does to a certain extent. Like, if you go and get a Fiverr gig that you pay $20 for and you get 500 links in an afternoon, you can guarantee those links are actually going to be like zero value to Google, right?
But are they going to be a negative?
So many. So I'll move on to that in just a second, Alex. Give me a second. So those are zero value links, right? So Google has by default ignored all those links. Again, going back 6-7 years ago, you could GSA somebody's website and in an afternoon they would have tanked, right? Now, what has moved is the actual quality of the links. So there's a lot of links that are in, like link builders lists. And again, there's probably some link builders that are listening to this and they probably won't like me saying this, but it's true. There's a lot of links that people are selling that look good. They've got good traffic. They're on an upward trajectory of keywords. They have high DR or high DA. If some people still use DA, I don't know why. But those links are actually very toxic. So they could have like, I don't know, a load of tier 2 links that are pointing to that website that are spammed to death. And face value, it looks like a really good link. And you'd be like, oh yeah, I'll happily take that link. If you actually do a little bit of digging, you'll see that either it's got link rot, content decay. There's just various different values when it comes to actually evaluating a good link and a bad link. And there's so many like links like that where you would look at it at face value and be like, yeah, I'll take that link. They actually do a lot of harm. Like one of the presentations that I'd done, so we had a guy a few years back, or not a few years back, a few months back, that didn't believe in disavows. He said it's a load of garbage. So we built 14, that's 1-4 links to his website, and it completely tanked. We done a disavow, it came back. We removed the disavow, and it tanked again. So when some people might say that correlation doesn't mean causation, that definitely was. We done a second website again. That was 20 links, and same thing again.
Wow. It wasn't Charles, was it? Because I remember at Birmingham, one of his parts of his talk was that disavowing was a waste of time. So he's in that camp, I guess.
So I don't know what Charles's thoughts are now, but I've got various examples that I can showcase. There's, again, I think my pinned tweet at the minute is still that tweet where it was talking about disavows. So again,
so is that going to? I guess that's going to be a video coming up, right? You've got a disavow video coming.
Yes, I do actually. Yeah,
you do now. You've just made a note of that one, because I think again a lot of people, in order to do a disavow like that, you would need to spend money on a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush, right? Or so can you get the info you need out of Webmaster, out of Search Console?
So again, this is another thing that people mess up on, where they'll come to me and they say, "Oh, I've done a disavow using Ahrefs DR, or I've done a disavow using this spam score on SEMrush."
Yes, SEMrush will just tell you should disavow all these links.
Those tools, as much as I'd hate to break it to you guys, they're not built for disavows. They're a great all-round tool. So if you want to do keyword research, if you want to look at some links at face value, go for it. That's fine. The tool that you should be using is LRT, and it's probably about 1,800 for the cheapest package. We pay 18,000 a month for it because we have got the most expensive package, full stop, and that's because we do so many disavows. But we also have access to so many links. Like nobody else can do a better disavow than our team because they've evaluated it's crazy numbers. I think it's like 700,000 websites we've put through that tool. And like out of the 700,000, maybe like 65% of them are actually good websites. So when I say like there's a lot of spammy links that people are selling, it's part of the other 45%, the other 35%. So just be cautious when you are doing any link building. And then there's somebody that's asked, that's an interesting comment by Kaz, is DA not a really good guide to go for a 40? Is DR better? DA and DR, you can mix up with a few other things and they're okay metrics, but you just need to realize that it's not a Google metric. It's a third-party metric. Google doesn't go off of, oh, this website has 85 DA or DR. Let's rank them for more keywords, because I can guarantee you right now, I can go and purchase a domain today and I could have it as a DA 65 and a DR 70 by 2 weeks' time. So it's a massively flawed metric, or it can be a massively flawed metric, but that's not to say that should be your only metric that you look at. You should be looking at various other things as well.
Yeah. Which one's which? I can't remember. DR is that
DR is Ahrefs, DA is Moz.
Moz.
And I think SEMrush as well. I don't know what SEMrush uses.
SEMrush, they use something else. Okay, I'm going to wrap up the stream. And they have an authority score, I think. That's what they use, or something like that.
That's it, yeah.
Which I guess is similar kind of thing. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. How many likes do we have? 51. We need a few more. We should be able to get to 88 because there's 80 people watching right now, and I'm sure some of those people are new and haven't liked yet. So press the like button, and we'll do a giveaway in a minute. So I will end with Rick. What would you say to someone that has been hit? Where should they start?
Actually, I agree with a lot of the content that everyone's been saying here, so it's been great. And I also disavow. Google just lies to us. I mean, they say, "Oh yeah, we're not going to count those. We know which ones are bad, and we won't count those." But yeah, if you do a bulk bad backlink batch, you're gone. And I've seen that. I've actually seen that, so that is true. Also,
so
images.
Negative SEO is still a thing, right?
It is. It is. I feel bad because back in the good old days, competitors would literally just spam bad backlinks to their competitors and wipe them out. And I think it's still possible today. But also images is another big one. Everyone's using the same images again. They're all going on Pexels. They're all going on Pixabay, and they're grabbing these images that everyone else is using, and it's not unique. And Google knows that. So that's another thing. Yeah, use unique when you can. But yeah, everything else that's been said, I agree with. It's been great. You guys have been awesome today. And I really appreciate you inviting me today.
No worries. Thanks for coming on, Rick, and glad you got your microphone sorted. All right, see you later. Let's finish with Jamie. What would you say to people? Let's go on a slightly more emotional well-being kind of way, which I know is completely not Kazra's thing. That's why I'm asking you. A lot of people have, because he earns tons of money, he's fine anyway. But there's some people that they put their heart and soul into the website. They've finally started making a decent income, and then they come down out of bed in the morning and they check their stats on the morning that the helpful content's rolled out, and they see that they've lost 70, 80%. What would you say to those people? Should they just go get a job?
Well, if that is what you want, I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Right? Do what you want to do. But for a business case, you mentioned before, like, if a website gets hit, some people start the next one. And like when you've built, like the reason I do this, and I think most people do this, is for the exit, for the big asset you make and sell it for at the end. Like, yeah, the money's good up front. It's sorting me out. Got the old gold Rolex on, but it's not going to be the end of the day, right? But the point is the asset value. So it's a poor business case based on a small one-off thing, go and start a new thing that's going to have a 18-month lead time before you get to where you could be if you spent a month doing the right stuff. And so it's just a terrible ROI on time based on how valuable your hourly rate could be if you did what Kazra said and recovered it. So I can't tell you how to be an entrepreneur or go to a job or whatever else. All I can say is understand the value of your time, what you can get the most, spend it doing those things. For me, why would I go and do new stuff? Why would I even spend time on smaller sites? I just have other people do it, anything that isn't like essential to getting hundreds of thousands of asset value back up that we've had chopped off after the last few weeks. Because there's no point doing anything else than that. It's just we do this for money. So just think like your hourly rate and then go from there.
I actually made a tweet about this. Yeah. A great SEO goes through peaks and troughs. As long as you bounce back, that's what matters the most. A lazy SEO gives up when times get hard. Which one are you?
Exactly. It's easy to make money in the good times. Huh? I think a lot of people have probably got reasonably decent sites. They just need to go back and go cover some of the things that you guys have spoke about and just go back through those articles and just check, are they as good as they can? How can I, make that better? And bring something new and unique to the party. I think it is very tempting though when shit goes wrong for people just to throw the towel in, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's the nostalgia of looking back when you've gone and crushed it and come back and gone into the gauntlet and won. There's two types of fun. There's fun in the present tense, which isn't fun looking back on it in 10 years. And then there's fun that's horrible at the time, but it's fun to look back on. And I think people should prioritize the second time.
Wise words. I think we should quote that. Okay, finally, Hassan has got a question, desperate for Jamie. Ask about the Bing traffic, please. What's he talking about?
On page and like relevance rather than like helpfulness. So I've always done better on them. So I do
You've done well on
Bing.
Bing, and people still use Bing. I guess it's like the default browser on.
I hope so, because I do decently on Bing. I think I get more Bing traffic than Google right now. So big up to Bing, always rated Bing.
Yeah, and I believe that Bing is a slightly older demographic than Google, so often more valuable in terms of ad rates and stuff. That might be wrong. I don't know. I think it's just because old people don't know how to change their default browser, or search engine, so they're stuck with Bing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There's certain industries that we're in that we get more search traffic from Bing, and we're equally like ranking as well both on Google and on Bing. But because it's like, I don't know, retirement plans, like there's just more people searching that than on Google.
Okay. Well, we've got 61. I mean, I think I can do a giveaway for that. I don't think if Phil left. If Phil's not here, I can get away with it. You should hang around for another 2 minutes. Let's do the giveaway and wrap this thing up. Okay, if you want to win a copy of Popcorn Theme, just say something in the chat right now. Let me know what you thought of the stream. Who's your favourite guest? Phil's still there, it's fine. Let's go. You've got 30 seconds. You've got to say something in the chat right now, and then I'll scoop up all your names and we'll do a draw. Let me see if I can bring on these. Oh no, that's not right. I've got Jamie there. There we go. I had another one of these little boxes. I have no idea. Oh well, we'll just have Jamie. Can I not copy that? I should learn how to use this streaming software. There we go. 2 Jamies. Let's switch that one out to Gazra. There we go. It's easy when you know what you're doing. Okay, you just want to take part for your back. Okay, that's fine. Let's grab your names and let's do this right now. It's been a good stream. We've currently got 82 people on. I think that it got a little higher than that. As you've noticed, my streams are not as regular as they were. I kind of do them as and when there's something worth talking about, and obviously this week there was. Not that many people have said much in the chat. You don't want to copy the theme. I think you probably already bought it. You bought it last month. Okay. The merch is on hold for the time being. There will be some new merch soon. Okay, let's go. Is there a drum roll? Oh. There we go. Oof. I'm going to win my own theme. Come on. Oh, no. I think it might be Anel Ramadanovic. Anel, congratulations. Drop me an email to eagle@wpeagle and I will sort you out your license. Okay. Thank you, Kazra and Jamie, for joining me.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
It's been fun. I'll put a link to Kazra's channel in the description. I did put one in the chat earlier. You can find him. Just search Kazra-SEO and you should be able to find him on YouTube. And Jamie, he might upload a video sometime soon. Both of these guys are very active on Twitter, so on X, I should say. So make sure you follow them both on over there to get the latest on helpful content update things and all other stuff related to websites, SEO, making money online, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, before we go, I'd just like to ask you both, one or the other, just share one final thought with everyone on whatever you like. It doesn't have to be SEO related.
Just remember to take action. I feel like that's probably the biggest thing when it comes to recovering a website. If you don't take action, it's a dead site. If you do, there's actually a chance to recovering that website. So you just need to take all the chances you can get.
Yeah, pick one thing and start doing that, and then go from there. Making your content better, checking your link profile for disavows, building your authority by getting your name out there on other people's websites, doing more social media. There's a lot of things you can take action on. And Jamie, your final thought on anything?
Be stubborn, keep fucking going, get it in, and be glad that you did it down the line, because an hour's leisure when you've got a big goal you want to get to is worth pursuing. So go for it.
Just go for it. Don't give up. You've got this far.
It kind of same thing as I guess take action.
Yeah. This is just probably a blip, and I think a niche like lady said this the other day. When you zoom out your graph in a year's time, you'll see that this was just a little dip before you went to the moon. Maybe. Or maybe not. But yeah, stay positive, take action, and you'll be fine. Follow these guys on Twitter, and you won't go far wrong. Apart from that, I wish you all an enjoyable evening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Some of you, I know it's the morning, so enjoy the rest of your day. I don't know when I'll be back. Maybe next week, maybe not. But I'll let you know on Twitter. And of course, subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any future streams. But yeah, until then, good luck with your sites, and I'll see you soon. See you later. Stay on the line.
Everyone.